Cliffy, how's it?
Hello, buddy.
How you doing?
Oh, you.
Good, thank you. Loving the long hair there, bud.
But yeah, it's been tough getting to the headdress.
Shame, man. Shame. But you well otherwise?
Yeah, very good. Very good.
That's good. That's good. Thanks for joining us.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've been following our little journey that we've done over the
Yeah,
last.
I've watched a couple of you guys. I've watched a couple,
Good.
but
Fantastic. So
yeah, I
you got a
haven't
bit
been
of
able
lead
to
time.
watch. I haven't been able to watch all of them.
No, it's all good. I mean, it's a bit of awareness around you guys and just something, talking about the game, which I think a lot of people don't. Well, no one does enough of, to be honest.
No, it's kind of a thing that's you learn from the previous generation where guys would sit around in a change room and you would talk for days on and yeah, it's like slowly dying away, and I think that's where you learn a lot of the game.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. I mean, I was down at a club game before lockdown, one of the last ones, and it was right at the back end of the game. And it was actually an exciting game. And geez, after the game, they packed their bags and they were gone. No beers, no, nothing. And it was one
Ninja
of the
dust and
exciting
off you
games.
go.
I think it's actually scary. That you're right. That part of the game's definitely dying, and it's going to be a massive loss. How was your course today, or your
Yeah, I
conference, or
just
whatever you had?
finished about half an hour ago. So
That's,
yeah, trying to do as much studying and catching up on some academics as much as possible. You
yeah,
don't often get the time to do that while you're on tour. So
yeah,
it's you try and do as much as you can when you can.
yeah. No, that's true.
Plus, I
100%.
kind of fell behind on some of the points, so I needed to do some catch up.
Well, that's allowed, eh? That's guys have to
Yeah,
use this time wisely, eh?
that's true. That's true.
That's it. So I'm going to kick off the evening with a nice, easy one for you. Nothing too serious. I mean,
All right.
for the guys that don't know you, you're quite a big man. You've played cricket for many years. You've played for, I don't even know, but longer than most guys have ever dreamt of playing professional sport. Is how long you've been in the game. So what got you into the game, and why cricket? Like I say, you're quite a big guy. You could have played rugby. You could have played basketball. Yeah,
Yeah.
why cricket?
Chris, I think I was fortunate enough to grow up in a pretty small town, and growing up in a small town, you have to basically participate in all the sport. Otherwise, like for argument's sake, I remember when I think it was grade 6 or grade 7. The primary school guys, we had a full in the secondary school. So like the first teams, if the primary school guys didn't play in the first team of the high school, we weren't able to play. So you know, so we used to do cricket, athletics. We used to play tennis. We used to play rugby.
Yes.
You know, and it's very fortunate because in like mainstream and big schools nowadays, you pretty much get the opportunity to do maybe two sports. You get a summer sport, and you get a winter sport.
That's it.
But throughout all of the time, playing all of these sports, being exposed to all of them, I think cricket stuck with me most.
Yes. Okay.
It was definitely something that I loved the most, and I felt I was okay at it, better than maybe say for argument's sake rugby. I was crap at rugby.
Yeah.
And then athletics, yeah, it was nice, but it wasn't something that I loved as much as I loved cricket. Close second was tennis, and yeah. So, but cricket stuck with me.
Fantastic. And that's probably how you met your wife. You say close second tennis. I presume. Obviously, been a professional sportsman, but seen her on TV. I don't know how you guys met and that, but I mean, that's probably how you got involved. I'm almost sure.
Yeah,
So,
it was an interview.
well, there we go. So, bit of everything, I guess.
Yeah.
But after your playing career, you got involved in the professional physio side. You were involved with many different sports as well. and then you moved on to the Protea ladies side, and you were with the National Academy and SIA. I think you had a hand in here and there, Warriors, and then moving on to Pakistan. So I want to talk something which I actually had a nice conference with the Northerns coaches yesterday about goals. What is your biggest dream within the physio industry?
Chris, I think at the moment, I think I'm living my dream.
Okay, fantastic.
I really am fortunate to be able to have gone into an international setup. It's definitely something that I feel fortunate about,
Yes.
blessed about. As a goal within an international setup is obviously to try and get better at what I do. Continuous improvement. Your main aim as a medical team is to have as many players available for your coaching staff to pick from as often as possible. So that will always stay the ultimate goal when it comes to physio, working with a doctor, working with the S&C, or whether it's whichever part of the medical team it is. I think that must stay your main aim, because that's why we're all there. That's part of the. It's just one cog in the wheel, and it's part of the company. It's you're working together with people, and if that doesn't stay your ultimate goal, if the main aim is not that, then I think you've got your priorities a little bit wrong. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. But I mean, living your dream, that's fantastic. I mean, not many guys can say that, So doing it at your age, we're going to touch on it a little bit more later, but I think it's incredible inspiration to be doing what you love.
Yeah,
but again, there's probably a lot of hardships that come with that, but we'll touch on that as well in the next 15, 20 minutes. In comparison, working here in South Africa and then working with the Pakistan guys, massive differences. Obviously, cultural, we know, but I mean, what other difficulties are you running into on a day-to-day basis?
I wouldn't call any of it difficulties, that I can guarantee you. I would call it adaptations. I would call it probably a challenge here and there. You walk into it open-eyed because there's religious differences, there's cultural differences, there are time differences. But most probably, the biggest thing that I probably have learned through this all is to be able to adapt a little bit more. We grow up a little bit rigid sometimes. And to be able to adapt and to open your eyes to accommodate different points of view to get to the same thing. Because again, I say that because the main aim should stay the main aim, which is to allow players to be on the field as often as possible for as long as possible. And if that's by, for argument's sake, doing a hands-on treatment when it's not always necessary. You treat the brain and the emotions as much as you treat an hamstring. So, I think I don't think there's any hardships when it comes to actual working with players or with going from South Africa into Pakistan at all. In fact, it's taught me a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, yes, the stories that you must have and expertise that you can probably teach other physios that would feed off you. I think it would be massive. But on the relationship side and your personal side, family, the rest of things, I know you mentioned to me this morning when we had a quick chat that you, at a stage last year, you hadn't seen your wife for like 6 or 7 months, I mean, how difficult is that? So, I mean, some guys wish they can live this dream, either being on a professional side as a coach and this and that, but they don't realize that they're going to miss 6, 7 months of the year with their families,
Again, I think we had a little bit of a initiation when it comes to that, because when I was working with the Warriors, I was down in Port Elizabeth, and she was still living in Johannesburg. So you try and commute a little bit up and down. And when this thing came along, it does take an open, honest conversation saying, listen, there might be times where this is going to happen. Is everybody okay with that? But you have to make sure that you try and keep planning the whole time. And again, I got to give credit to our to the PCB where it comes to families. The one thing about the culture in Pakistan is it's incredibly family orientated.
Fantastic.
Man, I can tell you stories about how these guys care about family and about each other as a family. It's unreal. You know, they are so accommodating when it comes to being able to have your wife with you on tours. So, you know, you do a little bit of planning, a little bit of logistics, and if you know, it all comes together, then you do get some time to spend with your family on tour.
Yeah, sure. That's fantastic. At least you have that support, you know, from the rest of the guys. I think it
No,
does help.
it's an amazing well, you can't call it opportunity, but it's something really good about PCB.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant, and I'm so glad to hear that. With the PCB, you've had a few great highs. I mean, I remember the England series last year or 2 years ago. This time flies, but I remember that quite clearly. You want to take us through your most or your fondest memory or your highest memory that you have of that journey and what got you guys there, especially that part of your journey, whatever it might have been.
Right. So I think I keep on saying I'm lucky, but it really is. My first test match was at Lord's as an international physio, and we won. We won the test match against England at Lord's. So I mean, from a purist perspective, if you want to look at where you want to win, you know, obviously the World Cup would have been amazing, but it wasn't to be. We ended up fifth, missed out on the semi-finals, but winning a test match at Lord's most probably a very big highlight. But then I have to from a different point of view, tell you that when cricket came back into Pakistan, 10 years, or international cricket, 10 years after that unfortunate incident, it was against Sri Lanka again. And Chris, I must tell you, the vibe you could pick up in Pakistan for the like a month leading into that was unbelievable. You know, I think we were in Australia at that point in time. We came back to Lahore about, let's say, 10 days before the Sri Lanka test matches. And man, was that something to witness. You know, you would walk into a stadium and it was just, you could not hear yourself think. Like, honestly, I've never experienced anything like that before in my life. It was unreal.
Yeah, that must be incredible. I mean, I don't think we'll ever know that sort of vibe and feel here in South Africa. But yeah, hopefully we all get an opportunity to either be there or into India series or something like that, just to get that sort of passion. I mean, can only be.
It's something next level. That.
Yeah, words can't explain it, I'm sure. So I want to talk about your series going back to England, because you guys are moving to England in the next month. You've got to be back in Pakistan by the end of the month or whatnot. And if you don't get back to Pakistan, you've got to then obviously meet them in England. And it's going to be quite a tough Pakistan series, England series at that stage. You talk about this bio bubble that you guys have to be in for a certain period of time. How does that work? How long must you be in it, and how strict? Like, really, I mean, this is quite a scary time we're living in, and how's it going to affect the guys?
Right. So when they talk about a bio bubble, they try and earmark stadia that have got hotels, training facilities, playing facilities, everything, all in the same area. You'll see that. I think West Indies are now, they pretty much arrived there yesterday or the day before. So I think we will have a little bit of a better idea as to how things are going to work. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to isolate as much as possible. So all they then have to worry about is would be the two squads, and then like the ground staff and the media staff or the media crew. Obviously, testing is going to be very rigorous. You cannot have anything well, you can't stop it completely, obviously, but you try your best to eliminate as many options as possible
Yes.
of anything happening. So I think the UK legislation tells us that you have to be in isolation for 2 weeks.
Okay.
So our first test match only starts, I think, if I'm correct, on the 5th of August.
Okay. Sure.
So we'll be there. 4 weeks, a month in advance, which would take us through our 2 weeks of isolation, and then 2 weeks of preparation. And then I think what we will also do is similar to what the West Indies have done, is we will take both our test squads and our T20 squad together. So there's no logistical thing of a guy flying in or flying out or whatever. So when you're there, you're there. You're there for isolation period. You're there for the preparation period, and it will give the guys time. I think in a like a roundabout way, it'll be actually in our favor, because we will have a lot of the guys together for a longer period of time, and then you can focus a lot of the preparation as they see fit.
Yeah, brilliant. I think it's going to be quite exciting with this new norm that we got.
I must tell you, the medical staff in Pakistan have worked extremely hard. You know, we've been communicating daily as to the protocols are going to work. You know, what the do's and don'ts are, what you should be looking for, and I think everybody can see the responsibility that international sport have at the moment to basically help the world get back on its feet when it comes to bringing sport back into the world.
It's going to be incredible. I can't wait. I mean, the world's waiting for sport to return, but it's going to be tough.
You know, when you grow up, you start counting by like the 15th of December. You start counting how many days are left before Christmas. That's pretty similar to what I feel like to that first test match now against or between West Indies and England now.
I tell you what, you know, I'm going to take it a step further, even counting down the days to the rugby this weekend. Incredible. I can't wait. I can't wait. So I've asked a few guys this. What sort of impact do you think this COVID thing is going to have on cricket and all sports in the long term?
Short term, there are some crinkles that need to be ironed out. You know, small little things like how you're going to shine the ball, how much of an impact that's going to have.
Yeah, I saw the new ICT regulations on that.
Yeah. You know, there are conversations or arguments for and against, and it's interesting to read all of that.
Yeah.
How it's going to impact, I think, and I say it again, I said it earlier, the responsibility that people have at the moment towards international sport will go a very long way as to what the impact will be later on for sport.
Definitely.
So, in short, to answer your question, I don't know what the long-term effect will be. I know we have a great opportunity and responsibility towards the sport now to make sure that the long-term effect is not massive.
That's it. Yeah, I see a question here by a youngster. Do you think the level of cricket will decrease? So, yeah, I think you've pretty much answered that. You know, it's our responsibility now to sort of take care of that, so that doesn't happen. You know, 100%. So I'm going to take you down memory lane here. When we met, I don't even remember where it was. I spoke to Yogi about it the other day, and he couldn't answer my question either. But we did our level 3 together many years ago, and that's where we
2015.
2015.
No,
there you go.
No, I'm lying.
Thank you. 2014.
2014 or 20. Yeah, I don't know. Chris, it was before I stopped playing cricket. It was 2012.
It was when you stopped playing. Yeah. Okay. So now
2012.
we're getting. Yeah. There you go. It's a long time ago.
Crikey, it's very long ago, boy.
Yeah. So, if you weren't a physio, would you want to take up a head coach role somewhere with a side?
Chris, I've never really thought about that. To be very honest with you, I've always,
you now.
I've always loved physio and sports physio that much that I've never thought about a head coach position.
Okay.
If I have to take the way I see coaching at the moment, it's a lot more technical. So I use a lot of the physio stuff for argument's sake, in checking alignments or, positions and those sort of things.
Yes.
And I think as a head coach is a little bit more of a manager. So I think a line coach or an assistant coach or a bowling coach or those sort of things, I think would suit the way I see coaching a little bit more. So
brilliant.
Yeah, you got to know where you got to draw the line for yourself. Otherwise, you're gonna,
for sure.
You're gonna mess it up. So
no,
I think head coach. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. It's something I was thinking about, and yeah, good to hear that from you. So, how you said that you obviously stopped playing 2012,
2013, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Since then, how's the game changed? Big question. I think it's quite a difficult question.
I think cricket is not a game anymore. It's an entertainment business. So the business aspect thereof has changed a bucket load.
Yeah.
I think to make cricket more attractive, it's become a lot quicker. Scores have become higher because, in essence, it's become entertainment.
Yeah.
I think in a certain way, and I don't want to put my foot in this, but in a certain way, that's why people messed around with the fact that, or the idea of making Test cricket 4 days, or and that's where all of these things were born from.
Yeah.
You ask the purist about cricket, and they all say Test cricket 5 days. You start at 10 o'clock, you finish at 5 or 6 or whatever. That's Test match cricket, and that's cricket. So I think, I think it's become a little bit more commercialized than what it used to. I mean, let's talk 2013, 2012, 2013. It was already changing.
Yes.
At that point in time, I mean, the IPL, the CPL, all of these leagues around the world became quite prominent, and then. So I think the commercial aspect of it changed it a little bit to become a little bit quicker, a little bit more, I wouldn't say flashy, but more entertaining.
Yes, more for the crowds, isn't it? It's not for the game as much anymore. That's it. So I guess we understand that. I mean, that's why they went with T10. That's why they're talking with I don't know, for the Olympics.
Yeah, I forgot about the T10 thing as well.
Yeah. So that's exactly it. How is the T10 received in Pakistan? Just out of the blue, random question.
I've only experienced the T10 maybe once. It was it coincided with our tour against New Zealand in Dubai, and then the T10 was played in, I think it was played in Sharjah and Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
And well, look, again, because it's so short, it's not the Sixers or the Hong Kong Sixers, which is just a party.
Yes.
But it's also not a T20. You talk with players that feel they need a couple of balls to get going, and then they're like, nah, T10 is way too short. Yeah. And you talk to guys that just want to swing, from ball one, and then they love it. You talk to bowlers, and they like, what am I up here against? So you've got so many varied opinions, and guys have so many varied things that they say about it. It's I can't really say whether it's a good thing for cricket or not.
100%. Okay, jumping back to my questions. I don't want to go too far off track here. So you've been in the change room with many incredible coaches, been on the playing side, been in the coaching management side. Who's one of the most influential, or you can even name 2 or 3, I don't really mind, but influential coaches that you've been around, and what's the reason that they are so influential to you, that they would obviously make such a difference to certain players?
Gordon Parsons, from a technical aspect. Pete Botha, from a technical aspect. The Northwest coach, Monty Jacobs, as a people manager, how he does what he does with you know, Northwest isn't one of the biggest amateur setups in the country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what the guys accomplish with the resources available is amazing. I love the way he handles people. And I spoke to you earlier about how technical, a technical point of view influences the way the little bit that I did coach.
Yes.
So it combines the physio aspect and the cricket aspect, and learning from guys like Pete Witter when I was with the Warriors, to a smaller extent. But working with Gordy was really good. Getting to know, and his British sense of humor sometimes gets people as well.
100%. He's a great guy, great man. I'm gonna flip that question. I'm gonna go and say which players, the likes. I'm just gonna put an example out there. Likes of a Virat Kohli has been influential in the change room with you. That can sort of change a team's mindset, but just the way he is, or just the way something he says. It can again be 1 or 2 players, or 3 players, or 10. I don't really care. I'd like to get insight into players that have influenced you as a player and a coach, I think.
Neil McKenzie, without a doubt.
Yeah, I thought so.
Mac has been an unbelievable, and it's he was a great player, but what he does and the way he does it, unbelievable guy. The way that he would. Just his knowledge of cricket is unreal, and I've watched him. I was able to watch him work with some of the Bangladesh batters at the World Cup.
Yeah,
and he goes much further than just the technical aspects of things.
Yeah,
he would analyze bowlers he was going to play against, work that into a tactical aspect in a batting session. Forward thinking, unreal when it comes to that. Yeah.
I was actually blessed with the Josie Stars in December. I was actually standing alongside the nets, and he was working with some of the batters, and absolutely incredible. I mean, you can just hear that his whole cricket brain is not just now; it's generations. You can see he comes from a cricket
miles
family.
ahead, man. He's miles ahead.
Miles ahead. He's forward thinking in that regard. Unbelievable. So you spent a bit of time with the Protea ladies, obviously, as one of your first, call it, big gigs. And you actually, if I remember correctly, quite enjoyed that environment. What do you miss the most about them as a squad?
Obviously the fact that it was my first, like you said, it was the first international thing. There's always a first for everything, and they were the first international team that I did work with. And you'll forever be grateful for the stuff that you've learned from them, and you get to learn and a lot about yourself. It was the first time you go on tour. It's the first time you get thrown into a position where timelines become a bucket load more important. Is she going to be fit? Is she going to be able to play? Those are the new things that you learn when it comes to international stuff, and obviously the personalities. There's some great personalities in that side, it was so pleasing to see that the competitiveness, how much the ladies wanted to win. And I mean, yes, it's a cliche, but it was amazing and surprising to see how badly they wanted to win all the time.
Yeah, and they still have that drive now. Speaking to the ladies, that's all they want to do, and they just want to show how good and how much they've grown. And subsequently, since then, they have grown massively since you've been with that side. So I mean,
you have this little fondness about the time you spend with them, and then you naturally start following them when you watch their games. And I mean, they came so close, so many occasions.
Yeah.
And it's proper heartbreak when you see them not being able to cross that line.
100%. I think it's just it's something that's gonna turn for South African cricket. Hopefully, it's just like a thorn in our side.
Let's not go there, Chris.
Yeah, I'll leave it. I'm going to leave it for another day, maybe another drink.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last one on the serious side, and then we're just gonna have like a few fun questions here.
Okay.
What's next for you? What's next on the Cliffe Deacon radar? Obviously beyond the Pakistan job.
No, I'm not focusing on going beyond. Just focusing on doing what I'm doing at the moment. I said to you right at the beginning, pretty much living the dream that I set out in about 2011, 2012, when I started, when I knew like my playing career is going to come to an end. So to try and think past this, I think it's missing an opportunity to really enjoy and take in what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's nothing after this for now.
Fantastic. It's actually the second time in 1 week that I've heard that exact thing. You know, I asked a youngster the other day, and he said to me, you know, I'm focusing on today and right now. I'm not looking at next week. I'm not looking at beyond lockdown. I'm looking at today and tomorrow. And absolutely brilliant answer. Love it. Love it. Okay, some fun ones here for you.
Okay.
To lighten the mood and end on a good note.
Okay.
Beach or bush?
Both. Has to be. Okay. Do I have to pick one?
Yeah, pick one.
Why? You said this was light questions, man.
Oh, these are the easy ones.
Crap. Okay. Bush.
Bush. Good shot. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Your favorite meal at the moment?
It has to be a braai one.
There you go.
That has to be.
In South Africa, you have to go with it.
Exactly.
Current hobbies? I don't know what you can do in Pakistan. I don't know how much golf there is. So, what's going on?
Well, let me tell you a little story. We worked in the PSL, and the owner of the team that I worked with said to us, "Listen, we're going to go play golf." I said to him, "We don't have time to go play golf." He said, No. We're leaving at 8 o'clock tonight. I'm like, "What? 8 o'clock tonight?" I said, "Yes." Okay. I'm going to get dressed. We're going to go play night golf. Okay. It was unbelievable. Really? I've never played night golf in my life, and it was amazing. So they've got some great courses in Lahore.
Okay.
So hopefully I can take my golf clubs with me this time. But when you're there, it's pretty much work.
Yeah. That's it. So that's it. You're gonna have to see that golf course at night. Unfortunately,
I'm gonna definitely do that.
It's
too hot anyway in the days, man.
Pardon?
It's too hot in the days anyway. So
yeah, exactly. 100%. Imagine your sweat factor going on there. So I guess I said it was fun and easy, but I'm going to throw in a tough one here. The biggest statement within the game that you heard that stayed with you the longest, playing wise, coaching wise, walking by a player and someone else saying it, something that's really influenced you or touched you, or something you've taken with you for many years?
Purposeful planning, I think.
Okay, it's a nice one.
I think that in the back end of my career, and then also ending my career, I think that helped me a lot. It doesn't guarantee you anything, but at least you gave it your best shot.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Two more. Role model. Current role model.
Current role model. Probably nowadays some of these guru physios working in sport, man. Yeah. These guys know a lot.
They do.
They make it sound so simple. Yes. And then I sit there and I feel like I'm in grade 1.
Well, you're sitting on this course. I'd love to hear more about it, but it's a chat for another day. So I'm going to leave you with that. Okay. So guru physios. It's quite interesting. And then, just to throw a spin on it, your favorite current player?
Barber.
Okay. What a man.
No,
he's not a bad cricket at all.
Such a no-nonsense, down to earth.
Yes.
Got his head screwed on the right way. Top 5 in all 3 different formats in the world.
He's a machine.
Not even a sign of the guy slacking down.
Yeah.
He's stayed the same person since I met him. I mean, fame can do stupid things to people.
Yes.
This guy has just gone. He's got blinkers on when it comes to his goals.
Yeah.
He takes in stuff and then he processes it really well, and then he uses what needs to be used, and then the rest he just like discards. So
Brilliant.
yeah,
Successful man. So that you got his recipe. You should sell it. Yeah. Cliffy, you're a good man. Thank you so much
thanks,
for your
buddy.
time.
Yeah,
Did you
thanks
get
for
your
having me on.
passport?
I appreciate that. No, not yet.
Oh, no. Okay, I'm phoning them tomorrow, but I'll sort
It's
it
fine.
out.
Don't worry. It'll get to
All
it
right.
sometime.
It will. It is South Africa. Yeah, 100%. Cliffy, thanks for your time, bud.
All right,
Appreciate
buddy.
it.
Yeah,
And
it was
you
very
have me
nice.
around the
Thanks a
golf
lot. Yeah, I'm going to try now.
whenever we can get out there again.
Bush hockey.
That will be fine. That will be